both just eating and being happy together. And when I'm eating, I can forget about my...
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna head to work.
Have a good day.
All right.
Good luck to you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
To not put him in an uncomfortable situation.
Why don't you let him speak for himself? One sign of a bully is
Take care of me, and I know it's taking toll on my daughter. She'll not be able to do.
Number 4. Vianney and Alan. Let's start off this Gross Eaters compilation with Vianney and Alan. They were one of the couples that really stood out. The two claimed that a shared love of food brought them together, and in a way, they were meant for each other. But once you get a look into their eating habits, it seems like they are the worst possible pair since they enable each other. When Vianney first appeared on the show, she weighed 594 pounds, and her husband Alan weighed 648.
We give each other this freedom to eat what we want, and we're both just eating and being happy together.
I met Vianney, and she been the best thing that ever happened to me. The biggest thing we bonded over.
I actually been able to have any type of meal with, because I feel like there's no judgment, just eating and being happy together. And when I'm eating, I can forget about to escape with food more and more. And I got to 100 pounds by the time I was... Can I have that slice?
Oh, you want this slice?
Thank you, babe.
Yeah.
Normal couples do. But as long as I'm eating like I am and gaining, that's never gonna change.
Vianney stated that her habit of overeating started when her late mother body-shamed her while growing up. She became bound to her bed, and Alan was a caretaker, but he struggled with issues of mobility himself. We see Alan cooking for both of them since he's the mobile one. Alan starts making breakfast, which consists of a large serving of scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes, and a ton of maple syrup on top, paired with a ton of coffee. The real question that comes to mind is how the duo even afford this much food per day. They eat enough to feed a family of 6. Right after breakfast, they decide to have another huge helping of fast food. This includes multiple containers of spaghetti and meatballs. Mind you, with not a vegetable or healthy side dish in sight. Actually, hold up. They do have one side dish. A ton of butter-slathered garlic bread, dipped in a fatty sauce with canned sodas. And for dessert, they have a big portion of cake and ice cream. The perfect way to end a day filled with unhealthy food binges. Number 3. Tiffany's binges. Tiffany Barker appeared in My 600 Pound Life Season 7. The 29-year-old Marysville, Washington resident was over 650 pounds when she debuted on the show in 2019. At the time, Tiffany admitted that she was gaining weight due to her eating habits and her addiction to shopping for food. She dealt with major health complications and body pain, but even then we saw her have some insanely questionable meals. In one instance, Tiffany's boyfriend is on his way to the grocery store with her so they can get some food, but Tiffany can't wait and she needs some ice cream to hold her over before they can get to the main meal.
You're gonna have to help me.
All right.
My hip's pretty bad today. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna head to work.
Have a good day.
All right.
Off of your plate, you couldn't leave the table, and oftentimes he would put way too much. Describe my father's cooking style as butter fried in butter. He was taught, always been a daddy's girl, and then I realized just how verbally abusive and manipulative my father could be. When I started to defend my mom, I realized just how...
On the way to the grocery store, the two park the car and get out when suddenly a lady berates Tiffany for walking too slowly in the parking lot, which is a pretty sad thing to see, and you can tell it does hurt Tiffany. Surely everyone deserves kindness from other people, but if you want to feel better about yourself, you need to put effort into making active lifestyle changes. After the incident, Tiffany hides in the car and starts binging on a huge pack of chocolate cookies. Then the two head off to a fast food restaurant, and Tiffany gets a double quarter-pound meal and 20 nuggets paired with cookies. She's drowning her sorrows in food, and this is exactly how she managed to gain 600 pounds in the first place. Right after this meal, her boyfriend got her pizza as well. It's really not difficult to see how these people manage to gain so much weight. There's quite literally no time in the day when they're not actively stuffing food in their mouth.
You'd be well under 600 at this point. So you're nowhere close to your goal. You want to tell me what happened?
What
But we already moved down here so that it's easier.
Well, I appreciate that. And you were supposed to lose. You got it?
Yes.
Great. Because you're running out of time. Some of the tests. But if you have gallbladder attack before then, and we're forced to do surgery on you now, why you're over 600 pounds, her food?
Recently, we had a talk, and he told me he would try and change, and he's saying no to not put him in an uncomfortable situation.
Why don't you let him speak for himself? One son of a bully is, and he's still feeding you, so you both have a lot of work to do. But you need to figure it out now, because of his lack of effort over the last 2 months. She's being given a chance to save her life at a time what she needs, then she's gonna run out of time. And there'll be very little anyone can do to help her.
Number 2. Octavia chows down. Octavia Nichelle was a part of My 600 Pound Life Season 7. Like other people on the show, her quality of life is negatively impacted by her weight. She was very determined to change her life for the better and sought out Dr. Nalzaridan's help. Octavia's weight gain story started because she was allegedly harmed by her stepfather. She claimed that he was violent with her mother, and Octavia turned to food for solace. By the time she was 20, she weighed roughly 500 pounds. She lost her mother 5 years later and had to take care of her youngest sister, who eventually got married.
Okay, all right. I'll just sit up on the side of the bed.
Count it out for
2, 3.
I got you. You ain't going nowhere.
Good luck to you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
I wanted her to hit her goal and get to a healthier place to make this trip safer.
Get the stretcher in and get you moving.
Okay, cool.
All right, you ready?
Yes, hold on, but don't fall out. It's embarrassing to have all of this just to be able to leave my apartment. Be good, okay? Promise me.
I know it's God's will that she goes down here and does this, and He's gonna take care of her.
As we get to know more about her, Octavia starts off her day with a huge plate of nachos and heavy dips. She's unable to do anything for herself, and that includes going to the kitchen to wash her plate, so her sister and kids have to act like servants and take care of her. The whole time she lays on her stomach on the bed, unwilling to move, almost like a beached whale. Her sister tries to talk her into eating a salad for lunch instead of something fatty and unhealthy, but Octavia is having none of it. She's almost aggressive and hell-bent on having barbecue for lunch, and eventually her sister buckles in. Her sister even says she doesn't want to enable her. She doesn't want to bring her the food that is slowly killing her, but Octavia simply says if she won't bring her what she wants, then she'll simply get someone else to do it. So it's either get on board or get out of the way when it comes to Octavia's choice of meals. Soon enough, we see her chowing down a huge portion of barbecue and wedges. This whole time, she's been lying on her belly on the bed, not moving an inch since the time she woke up. Can you imagine laying on your belly for this long while constantly eating? It's absolutely horrifying. But that's not all. Octavia is far from done. Next up, she calls a friend to bring her a whole bag of snacks including crisps, candy, sodas, as well as a whole pizza. Again, she just stays on her stomach and keeps devouring the food in front of her, while her friend watches on with a sad expression on her face. She knows that Octavia is eating herself to death.
Right now that we need to address, other than your weight and lack of ability to get up and move, almost 700 pounds. That's very concerning. So go to rehab for a couple of months and see if we can build up some strength on your to get those diet instructions so she understands what's going on, because she's still a lot of work to do. We started you on a 1,200 calorie a day diet so we can get your weight down. Be able to lose at least 50 pounds a month.
Okay.
And if you do that, then I will approve you. We get the ambulance to take you to rehab, and you're going to start working with them every day.
Number 1. Mercedes' unhealthy habits. As soon as we start seeing Mercedes' life, we can tell exactly how she managed to gain more than 400 pounds. Her weight is so much that she's in pain now. Her joints are hurting, her feet and legs can't support her huge body anymore, and she's in pain just from getting out of bed. But the worst part is to deal with her pain, she indulges in even more overeating, making the whole situation worse with every unhealthy mouthful that goes in her stomach.
Be around your father, but knowing that those things would happen.
Mom paid more attention to my other sisters than me.
That must have been difficult for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you. That must have been.
He passed away last year.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I didn't get to go to church.
And were you able to forgive him, Mercedes?
Yeah, I forget my dad. I've been forgave.
By a parent, it's not uncommon for you to love your father and nobody's judging him, but he hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a lot of survivors of sexual abuse, it's common to fall into self-soothe as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, basically. I'm paying for taking care of me, and I know it's taking toll on my daughter. She not be able to
do to help care for you. And so I want you to take a minute and think about
to help me and take care of me instead of me taking care of her.
As soon as Mercedes' friend comes over in the morning, he heads to the kitchen to make her breakfast. Her breakfast is insane. It's at least 5 servings worth of scrambled eggs, pancakes and bacon. But this is barely enough to sustain Mercedes for a few hours. She calls her sister Tiffany to bring her some food for lunch, and lo and behold, the next meal consists of a ton of fried chicken, with coleslaw, buttery biscuits and a heavy fatty dip, along with what looks like mashed potatoes. Of course, you can't forget the huge soda that is a must for every meal. But all this food isn't enough to hold Mercedes over till dinner, and she quickly starts thinking of a next snack to help her till dinner. You can literally see that Mercedes' life consists of nothing but food. She thinks about eating while she eats and snacks on unhealthy items as she waits for her next fatty, oily and carb-dense meal. That's all for today, folks. See you next time.